Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Testing. Look at our new pillow.
Oh, we got a new pillow.
It's an embroidered pillow and it says, I never repeat gossip. So listen carefully.
Listen carefully, people.
Ba-dum.
All
right. See how that sounded?
Yes. Hi, Charlotte.
Hello, Madeline.
We're back.
We are back with a... Do we have a timeline to run through for you all today, folks?
We got a good old deep dive for you today.
Good old deep dive on the Beckham family drama.
Oh, boy. And there is a lot of drama to unpack.
A lot of drama. So much drama that it needed its own episode.
Methinks it needed its own episode.
Methinks it did. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I really appreciated all the comments we got on our Tuesday episode. I feel like that was a banger of an episode. Aaron Rodgers' information feels like the most interesting moment of the episode, I would say. And the most comments we've gotten.
We've gotten a lot of comments about that.
Yes.
Also, if you go back and look at the YouTube, we're both wearing, if I may say so myself, fabulous sweaters.
Yes.
We look kind of like we're going to do a Norwegian interior design show.
Yes.
But instead we're talking about sports.
Yeah, instead of sports.
Yeah, that one felt good.
It felt good.
Let's do it again.
Let's do
another good one.
Okay, so we are talking about the Beckham-Peltz family drama and what kind of sparked this episode. It's not that there wasn't drama before, because there certainly was a series of Instagram stories from David Beckham's oldest son, Brooklyn Beckham, that accuse his mother of dancing on him inappropriately at his wedding, his family meddling in their relationship, among many, many other things.
Yes, saying his parents tried to separate him from his wife, that he was an anxious kid, and the first time he hasn't been anxious is since he cut his parents out of his life. Blah, 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 blah. We will get to the full statement. Don't you worry. You've probably seen it by now if you've clicked on this episode, or if you have, whatever. I don't know why I said that. It's fine. David, his father, the football player, footballer. Bennett like
footballer. Oh, that's one of my favorite movies.
You know,
I think I've said that on the show.
I think you have.
I love that movie.
I loved it. I haven't watched it in a while. Someone told me it does not hold up as well as you want it to.
Well, I haven't watched it in a while.
Maybe we should
do a rewatch.
Do a little rewatch.
Maybe that would be a fun deep dive episode. My husband always is like, I feel like people would like sports movie, like old sports movie analysis. I'm like,
well, look, another one that
people,
we
if you
have
want
to do, another soccer sports movie is A Big Green. Have you ever seen The Big Green?
Yes.
Which a lot to do about immigration.
Yes, true. That is true.
And I think it might end up coming down on the right side of history, but I couldn't tell you one way or another.
Well, maybe we need to do some rewatches.
I think we should.
If people are into that, let us know.
Little production meeting.
Yeah, let us know.
Yes. Okay. So David Beckham then went on, and this was an interesting choice to me. I think he's at Davos, the World Economic Forum at Davos. And he went on CNBC, which is like the money channel.
Yeah.
He went on a show called Squawk Box to first public statement immediately after his son posted this stuff. So
yes,
we have some PR questions about this whole thing, but you know what? Let's set the table. Let's set a little Let's set a little feast.
Set a little scene, a little vignette, so to speak.
Yeah, let's go vignette to vignette.
A little what's it called? What's a nativity scene called? There's like a
diorama.
Well, it's kind of a diorama.
It kind of is.
Remember when you'd have to do dioramas in school?
Nothing brought me more joy than hearing that was the assignment.
I gotta be honest.
You get a nice shoebox.
Yeah.
And then you just go to town.
That was not my skill.
Really?
You are better, I think, at more intricate, like artistic projects, like illustrations, which little T's in the biz. That may come back to the Sports Gossip Show universe in a way that benefits our shareholders.
That may come back to Honest.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I was better at like, give me a presentation.
Okay.
But anytime they said diorama, my brain just fell apart.
We should have known each other.
Yeah.
I would have done all your dioramas.
You would have led the group project, and I would have just gotten the A for effort and participation.
When it came to a diorama,
I'm sure yours were unbelievable.
I sort of would like to should we make a Sports Gossip Show diorama?
Yes. Because now there's so many good miniatures. No, there are.
Sorry, what?
Like you can buy really cool like mini versions of things now.
Okay, so this is where I
like
become
little
a bit
pieces.
This is where I become a little bit of a purist.
Oh, you want to do it from scratch?
You have to make them.
Okay.
Which now that I'm thinking of it,
we should do that.
I don't know how to do that, but I love watching the little mini. You know what we should do? We should do a Sports Gossip Show You know, the like, what lunch table would you like to sit at?
Yes.
We should do all the main characters of the sports gossip show in a cafeteria.
Yes. Yes. You remember there was this documentary about the guy who made miniatures and photographed it? Oh, I can't remember it. It was a really good, interesting documentary. I'm truly forgetting the entire plot of it and what the miniatures were. I feel like it was a miniature town he invented or something like that.
This is ringing a bell, but
if someone remembers what I'm talking about, put it in the comments.
Oh, I would love to watch that.
Anyways.
Okay. So anyway, back to David Beckham.
Back to David Beckham.
Let's start with how David Beckham and Victoria Beckham, aka Posh Spice,
from the Spice Girls.
How did they get together?
So they first met back in 1997, and on an interview that David Beckham gave on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Talk about a throwback.
Talk about a diorama.
Yes. Wait, why did I say yes to that?
Because you're supportive.
I'm yes and
partner.
Yes and. He said, quote, she came to a football match, soccer match, he clarified, and I said hi from across the room, and that was it. I thought I'd miss my chance, and then a week later, she turned up at another football match. She had a few to drink and gave me her number.
Okay.
And then Victoria wrote a little bit later a letter to her 18-year-old self in Vogue. Didn't know people did that, but she promised, quote, love at first sight does exist, telling her past self that, quote, it will happen to you in the Manchester United Players Lounge, although you will get a little drunk, so exact details are hazy.
Wow. Those stories do match up.
They match up. And here's what I'll say. This was at a time, I feel like, when you just had more access to them in interviews, whereas now when celebrities sit down for a profile or an interview, it's very rare that you get honest information or just more intimate details about someone's personal life. Yeah. Which maybe, I don't know, good or bad reasons, that's maybe a debate for a different episode. Right. But I do feel like this was like peak tabloid time, and we'll get to more details, but where people who were famous and in the public eye were more willing to share more information than they are now.
Yes, this was the heyday of the magazine profile of celebrities, of, you know, you did your Vogue, your Vanity Fair thing. And I think too, real quick, this is something that when all these athlete-produced documentaries started coming out, I was arguing at the time. I was like, this is going to be terrible for athletes because it takes away any credibility. You're not getting anything. And in fact, it has not been terrible for athletes. And instead, the actual journalism and profiles of people have just not happened as much, which is a bummer.
It is a bummer.
But I do, these quotes are incredible. They also talked a lot about this in the Beckham Netflix documentary.
Yes, they did.
Because the family does like to talk about themselves.
They love to talk about themselves and love being in the public eye.
Yes.
To the point. So they were engaged in 1998. And then they announced at the end of that year that they were expecting their first child, Brooklyn Beckham, the main subject of this episode. Mm-hmm. And he was born March 4th, 1999. And back to the kind of public eye piece. So I found some YouTube footage from the Associated Press from when Brooklyn was born. He was born at Portland Hospital in London, very famous hospital. And
is that the one where the royals?
So I think I can't remember which royal baby was born there, but I do believe that at least one of recent royal baby was born there.
Okay.
I believe. And if you know anything about the royals, they always like take that photo outside with the baby. The press is there. So this video doesn't show them posing with the baby, but it shows a ton of press outside of this hospital for the birth of their child. Oh and then David Beckham comes out to like announce the birth of the child, which is similar to how the royals do it, which again was like another moment of spectacle and celebrity that again felt very intimate. And I mean, now I guess celebrities post an announcement on Instagram with like a baby's hand.
Yeah, I think, which is much more removed than having a bunch of people outside waiting for your kid to be born and then going and telling them that the kid has been born.
Right, exactly. And then, so a month after Brooklyn was born, they did an interview with OK Magazine, which again is a tabloid. And the cover photo, I don't know if you see this, Charlotte. We'll insert an image.
Wow.
But they're like touching faces and it's very
Victoria
intimate.
And David are touching faces. Yeah.
Yes. And the copy on the cover says, Victoria and David proudly invite you inside to share their beautiful new home plus baby Brooklyn.
So these people have not shied away from, and you could kind of argue that their whole brand has been being a family.
Totally. And a family in the public eye.
Yes, exactly. Too. And milking it and wow. Okay. So when does Victoria start her fashion.
So she starts that in September of 2008, and it starts as a menswear line. But before we get to that, I do have two other things I want to know. So they got married in July 1999, so after Brooklyn was born. And to your point, like that was another moment of spectacle for their relationship.
Yes.
They had this, they wore purple, they had a crazy cake. I think we talked about the compressed flowers on the cake.
We did.
At their wedding,
and
right?
we talked about how great the purple outfits are.
Yeah.
Also, they wore them again. They put them on for, I believe, their 25th anniversary.
Yes.
And I mean, also like, okay,
like
cool, these still fit. Oh, well, yeah.
yeah. It was like, we get it.
Yeah, we get it.
So there was a lot of press and spectacle. Flash forward, David Beckham, very famous soccer player. Throughout the relationship, there was a ton of tabloid coverage. Victoria Beckham arguably was the first wag. So there was a lot of eyeballs on them and magazine covers, etc.
Yeah.
And then I do think another thing that's interesting to note, this is just one example, but in August 2007, she sat down with W Magazine to address rumors that David had an affair back in 2004, which they do talk about in the documentary. And they bring that up in their relationship a lot in the press over the years.
Yes.
So there's, again, more and more discussion about their relationship together and intimate details that I do not think most celebrities would share now.
That's such a good point. Even when watching the Beckham doc, you're kind of like, why are you like, you don't have to do this.
Right. No.
I think that their whole press strategy has been kind of like, you don't have to do this. Like, I don't hate it. Interesting.
Right.
Would love to know what's going on. But it feels like these are people who really do, you know, when I first got into journalism and I was sort of, I felt weird asking people questions, or I was like, you know, if I was supposed to be doing a profile, or I was like, okay, I just asked them questions. It's sort of it feels like an invasive or awkward thing to do person to person. And an editor told me, they're like, people love to talk about themselves.
Yes.
People love to talk about themselves. And anytime I've been interviewed, I've found myself like talking about myself and being like, oh my God, am I just loving talking about myself right now? So it seems like the Beckhams, instead of curbing that impulse, have turned it into a business.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like the business of being famous as a Beckham. Yeah, basically.
Which is kind of just say what's going on.
Right. Exactly. And then to your point about her line, she launches her menswear line in September 2008. Okay. And it started as menswear line first.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Right. Because in addition to being one of the Spice Girls, she is now a fashion designer.
And recognized.
I was going to say, she's a legit fashion designer. Like she has some great designs. And this will factor in later into the drama of her son.
Ooh.
Okay, so Brooklyn Beckham, obviously he's been in the public eye his whole life.
Yeah.
He's 26 years old, and this is just a funny detail that basically he kind of has been trying to be a bunch of stuff his whole life.
He's tried a lot of things.
You know, he's tried to be stuff.
He's been the ultimate child of a famous person.
Yes.
Which, listen, I respect.
Yeah.
When you have unlimited funds and you can try things and you have lots of resources at your disposal, I think, wouldn't we all?
Right. I would respect it a little more if you were like better at the things, because apparently he in 2021 he wanted to become a professional chef, and
which I didn't know that this happened.
I didn't either until I found this when I was looking stuff up for this episode. And he had an online video series as opposed to an offline video series.
Okay.
Which
would that be like?
I've yet to find one.
70 millimeter in theaters only?
IMAX release.
I would honestly, if a celebrity's child did that and was like, I'm releasing a short video series on how to make pasta, and you can only see it in theaters
at Lincoln Center or ArcLight.
Unbelievable. Oh, RIP ArcLight.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So anyway, so he did this video series called Cooking with Brooklyn. Not bad.
Not a bad name.
Not a bad name. Also, on the subject of names, not to interrupt myself, but I do feel like Brooklyn Beckham was one of the first Brooklyns.
Yes.
Before, like, I feel like there's a category of name like Brooklyn, Hudson, Kingston that all have to do with places in New York.
Yeah.
That have kind of proliferated, even though like people who name their kids this often don't live in New York.
Yes. It's very true. They were pioneers.
I feel like they were.
In the same way Gwyneth Paltrow was a pioneer with Apple.
Yeah.
And it was crazy at the time, still a little crazy, but you know what? People name their kids weird names now. And I feel like it's because of people like David Beckham and Gwyneth Paltrow.
And I do think that celebrities deserve a little credit when they venture into a brave new world.
Totally.
Also, I'm sure people were named Brooklyn before that, but celebrity-wise, this felt like a turning point. Okay, Anyway, so we got Cooking with Brooklyn. And my favorite part about this is that apparently it took 62 professional, like, crew people to produce these videos. And apparently it cost over $100,000 an episode, which, look, I will say, my husband's in production. If you have a crew of 62 people, $100,000 like is what it'll cost.
Yes, that's true.
So
that's true.
But it feels like they set up this whole commercial production instead of just what we do, which is we went out to B&H and we got a camera.
I'm kind of at a loss for words. That's so expensive.
But I think I'm with you. There's something like a little bit iconic about it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, if you're going to be a Nepo baby, do it right.
Yeah.
He did it right. The show, based on a Google, it was an Instagram and Facebook show. Is that right?
I believe
Which
so.
Unbelievable. Again, also, it wasn't even in theaters. Like it wasn't even like, it would make sense if it was on the Food Network and it cost $100,000 episode. Like, this was just for the internet.
And this is one of those things when, like, as a smaller example, say you get really into making jewelry as a kid, you go out and you buy every possible, or like if even as an adult you're getting into knitting. Like when I would go through my knitting phases, my mother is an amazing knitter.
She's incredible.
Shout out to my talented, wonderful mother. But I would just buy every tool possible and a ton of wool, and then knit like 5 rows and be like, well,
and I'm done.
And yeah, so this is that on steroids.
Yes.
And also, I you can't help but admire it.
No, it's so impressive. One of my other favorite Nepo baby things he did, was he's an aspiring, or I guess he is, a photographer.
Is he?
And he released a series of photos in what appears to be a photography book. My favorite one.
Wait.
I put a link.
Wait, he had a photography book?
I believe so. And if I recall, I could be wrong, but I think he also had an exhibition of his photos at one point, which again, iconic if true.
But my God, I'm losing it.
My favorite one is on page 46, which is a photo of what should be an elephant, but it is completely backlit and it's just the shadows of an elephant. And the caption says, "Elephants in Kenya, so hard to photograph, but incredible to see."
This is like the
unbelievable.
The chutzpah it takes to have to publish a photography book and say so hard to photograph, but incredible to see. He's basically like, you should have been there.
He's got another one, which is of a dinner. It's a blurry dinner setting, and it just says dinner, period. I like this picture. It's out of focus, but you can tell there's a lot going on. I feel like if you are an artist or photographer and you have to explain so much of what's happening, and it's just a blurry dinner photo, you're maybe not doing your job correctly.
This is okay. Look, from what we can tell, this is all embarrassing, but also some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen.
It's unbelievable.
And you know what? There is something to be said about being a celebrity who has been so insulated from the world and so rich and gotten everything they want. And like, you know how there's some statistic that's like, if we had universal income, or, we live in the richest country in the world, we should be able to support people. And like, people who are rich often become artists.
Yes.
Like if people have time to themselves, they follow their artistic passions. To have all the time in the world and really just not be able to back it up with much to show for it makes him a less perhaps sympathetic figure, but also it takes a lot of chutzpah to just go for it and put your art out there.
He's putting himself out there. I'll give him that. He's putting himself out there.
Oh my God.
So that's Brooklyn Beckham.
Okay.
A brief overview.
Yeah. Just, okay. So now let's go into the Peltz family. This, Madeline, what I'm about to tell you.
I don't know most of what you're going to tell me because I chose not to scroll down. So I'm very excited.
When we decided we were going to do this episode, I went down a rabbit hole about, so Brooklyn Beckham started dating Nicola Peltz in 2019.
Yeah.
And you put this in after reconnecting at Leonardo DiCaprio's Halloween party?
According to reports online, yes.
So, okay. Shout out Leo.
Shout out Leo.
So Nicola is 31. She's an actor and a model. She acted in a bunch of stuff sort of around 2014, but doesn't seem to have done a ton recently until she directed a movie in 2024, which is the same thing, I'm sorry, as Brooklyn making a photography book.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Was the movie released widely?
It came out, but it was just critically panned.
Okay. That sounds right.
Maybe we should watch it. I
Yes.
don't know. But the interesting stuff to me is Nicola Peltz's family.
Okay.
She is the daughter of a billionaire businessman named Nelson Peltz and a model named Claudia Hefner.
Any relation to Hugh Hefner?
Not that I can find.
Interesting.
Not that I can find. Nelson, I believe, was born in 1942. Claudia was born in 1955. So, there's an age gap, but it's not like they're 50 years apart,
Sure.
which I kind of assumed at first. And I think they've been married for over 40 years.
Oh, wow.
So, okay.
All right.
Nelson Peltz, he's from a New York family, and he owned a food distribution company. He later got into vending machines.
Infrastructure.
Yes. Yes.
Of an office space.
Oh my God, we need a vending machine.
Any vending machine companies out there?
If you're listening. Nelson Peltz, just kidding.
Could you imagine if we had a vending machine?
No, I would lose my mind.
Oh my God.
And you could use like fake tokens. We wouldn't have to pay
thinking about
ourselves.
that. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Although a lot of them now have tap to pay. Have you noticed that?
I have noticed that, but I bring back a coin.
I don't like it.
Apparently there's like no more pennies. Pennies aren't in circuit. Remember they're like not making any more pennies?
No, I know. So
sad.
here's a question.
What?
Are pennies, since they're now not being made, going to start being worth more than a penny?
Because they're rare.
Collectibles.
Like a flip phone, like a old BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly like an old BlackBerry.
I would love for the BlackBerry to come back, by the way.
Same.
Like a new one?
Can I tell you something?
What?
I resisted getting an iPhone for a long time because my reasoning was I liked being able to text without having to look at the screen.
Because
I had those buttons on lock. I had the BlackBerry Pearl.
Oh. Wow.
So maybe BlackBerry,
If you're listening. Come on the pod.
Okay.
So anyways.
So what I found about Nelson Peltz, what I found about Nicola's father is some of the wildest stuff. My jaw, I kept like yelling to my husband and then like texting you snippets because I was like, I cannot believe.
Yeah, you only told me a little of what you discovered.
My jaw dropped. I don't know if people are ready for what I found out about Nelson Peltz. Okay, so he gets into vending machines, great. And that turned into like food packaging business.
Okay.
Then in the 90s or late 80s, he bought Snapple.
The beverage. Okay.
He bought Snapple and then flipped it 3 years later and sold it for $1.45 billion.
What?
This man...
Snapple?
This man is Snapple money.
Snapple money. He sold it in a snap.
Mr. Snapple, he did.
Wow. Okay. That's crazy.
He's now worth $1.6 billion, which is just...
It's a lot of money.
Too much money for a
lot of pennies.
You don't need that many pennies.
Not a lot of pennies.
Okay. And it's a family business. So I think that they have 6 children. Nelson and Claudia have 6 children. I think he was married before and he has 2 other kids. Nicola's oldest brother apparently went to Yale and worked for his father's investment firm called Tryon Fund Management.
That sounds like a fake
and her
name.
Oldest brother is the non-executive vice chairman of Wendy's.
What? So they have a stake in big beverage and big fast food.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to Google. I saved this. I'm going to Google Tryon Fund Management.
Okay.
And we're going to pull this up. Tryon Partners.
Okay.
Oh
no.
Highly engaged share owner.
On the homepage with a photo of New York City.
So there are blurbs. Oh, okay. So they have a lot of sketchy. Okay. Quote. The quotes move off the page too quickly to be able to read them. So
they have quotes.
They have quotes talking about how great Nelson Peltz is. We are pleased to be welcoming Nelson to the Unilever board. We've held extensive and okay, that went away. From day one, Nelson has been a focused, collaborative member of P&G's board, working in concert. Wait,
the slideshow goes so fast.
Nelson and Josh have been great partners and important contributors. We have valued their guidance and feedback on our business.
These quotes are coming up and going so fast.
Anyway, so basically it's just people talking about how the people who work with Nelson saying how great
the shareholders love him.
The shareholders love him.
Okay.
So founded in 2005, it's a multi-billion-dollar investment management firm. So he went from Snapple to blah, blah, blah.
Fine.
Okay.
All right, whatever.
So this is the interesting stuff. Apparently in 2003, Nicola Peltz's father, Nelson, bid for New York Magazine. Tried to buy New York Magazine.
Okay.
With an advertising executive named Donnie Deutsch. the owner and mogul of the Daily News, Mortimer Zuckerman. Oh, and Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein.
No.
Nicola Brooklyn Beckham's wife's father tried to buy New York Mag with Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein.
My mind is blown.
So what's this guy been up to?
That is wild.
Isn't that crazy?
That is, I'm literally at a loss for words. It's so absurd. Truly, what are the odds? But also, like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You're like, of course, Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein were teaming up with Brooklyn Beckham's father-in-law to buy New York Magazine in 2003. Like, of course.
And lest you think that I found this on some tabloid, I found this on justit.gov/multimedia court. Like, I found this in a court document. Also,
wait, okay. First of all, I got to say something. Okay. Before we
there's one more
about New York Magazine,
about Nelson.
Okay.
So.
Nothing feels more like a cut article, though, New York Magazine's section, than Brooklyn Beckham doing a personal essay a la Ashley Tisdale about this family drama. Does it not feel like a cut essay? So
yes.
Ironically...
Nicola finally speaks.
Yes, it comes full circle. It feels like you're like, that doesn't make any sense that her father was going to buy it. But also, like, if he had, there surely would have been an essay from her at this point.
Well, we might be 5 news cycles away from the cut Nicola Peltz essay.
Yeah.
If her father had succeeded in buying it with, once again, Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein, who knows what would have happened to that illustrious publication?
That's shocking.
Okay, so there's that. Nelson Peltz is also a very significant Trump donor.
Okay.
Donated to Trump's campaigns. He is also the person who introduced Donald Trump to Elon Musk.
What?
And later said he didn't expect them to become so close.
Okay. What?
And they live in Florida.
Yeah, and they also got married in Palm Beach, which is where Mar-a-Lago is.
They sure did. I'm pretty sure that Nelson invited Donald Trump to an engagement party for Beckham and for Brooklyn and Nicola. And then Victoria Beckham had a separate engagement party. What I can find of her politics seemed to lean more liberal.
Sure, yeah.
And maybe that
oh boy.
Is that not wild?
That is
Nelson
so crazy.
Peltz, what have you been up to?
What have you been up to? You have connections with Elon Musk, Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, and Donald Trump.
I mean,
and Snapple.
And vending
machines.
Okay, so there's that. Just so everybody has that context.
That is unbelievable information.
Blew my
mind.
mind.
Is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that context.
Yep. Well, thank you for listening.
I don't even really know what to say.
Well, I think what we should do is you should tell me when Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz, what their dating timeline is.
Yes, of course. So as we mentioned, they started dating in 2019 after allegedly reconnecting at Leonardo DiCaprio's Halloween party. Brooklyn then proposed to Nicola.
And he was pretty young. He's 26 now.
So he would have been 20.
No, he would have been
20.
19? Would have been 19?
No, wait. No, 19.
Wait.
I just counted on my fingers 7. Oh, yeah. He would have been like 19, 20. Pretty young.
Okay.
Anyways, Brooklyn proposed in July 2020, so around 2021. But I will say that kind of follows in their parents' footsteps because they were pretty young, I believe, when they got together.
Yep.
And what's interesting, so Victoria and other members of the Beckham family celebrated their proposal and engagement on social. In fact, Victoria posted on July 11th, 2020, a photo of Brooklyn and Nicola. And the caption says, "The most exciting news. We could not be happier that Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz are getting married. Wishing you so much love and a lifetime of happiness. We all love you both so much."
Okay.
And that was public on Instagram.
Okay. With a picture of the two of them.
Picture of the two of them. Again, another example of the Beckham family participating in their family's personal life on the internet.
Yep.
Or just publicly for others to see. So Brooklyn and Nicola got married in Palm Beach, as I mentioned, in April 2022. Mm-hmm. The report on how much the wedding cost was $4 million. $4 million.
You know what I'll say?
What?
If you're a guy who's starting a YouTube series with $100,000 per video, your wedding better cost $4 million.
That's true. That's true. And listen, if your father-in-law is a billionaire, $4 million is nothing.
Exactly. So honestly, kind of surprised it didn't cost more.
It might have. Who knows? We don't know. This is just the report.
Okay.
So Nicola wore, and this comes back around, she wore a custom Valentino dress for the occasion, for the wedding. She wore other dresses, but that was like the main one. And there was a whole Vogue feature about her preparing with Valentino House to make this dress. It was a year's worth of planning. And she said, quote, "It was the culmination of a year's worth of conversations with Valentino."
Okay.
So it was not a last minute decision.
Okay.
So I'm just pointing that out.
Okay.
However, in an interview in August of 2022, so a couple months after their wedding, to Variety, she told them that she had originally hoped to wear a design by Victoria Beckham, since she has a line, but was unable to do so because her quote, atelier couldn't do it.
Whose atelier?
Victoria
Victoria's?
Beckham's, I believe.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Peltz did not wear a Victoria Beckham gown. Then obviously rumors started swirling, like, is there a feud? What's going on here? Maybe she just wanted to wear Valentino. Maybe something happened with the family. Who knows? And then after they got married, they changed her last name to Peltz-Beckham. So a little hyphenated last name.
Well, what's interesting is I don't think there's a hyphen.
Oh, is there not?
No, I think it's just Brooklyn Peltz-Beckham and Nicola Peltz-Beckham.
Oh, interesting.
Which
Okay.
I think that we should use 3 names more.
Yes.
And I like when a man puts a woman's name in his name. So
Yeah. Like, it's fine.
Sure.
Okay. So then we'll backtrack a little bit to the wedding in a moment. But in 2023, Peltz did clarify comments about the wedding dress. Because again, these rumors are swirling, like, what's going on here?
Okay.
And then again, she told Variety. I'm like, Variety's getting they're getting all the tea, I guess. I feel like it had to have been around her movie.
Who does Nelson know who owns Variety?
That's a great question.
There we go.
Okay. She told them that rumors of a family feud appeared to have started after she wore the Valentino dress, blah, blah, blah. But she dissuaded any reports that were saying that there was, I can't speak, drama or problems within the family.
Okay.
So seemed like it was fine. And then Brooklyn also denied any tension at the time by saying, quote, "I've learned they're always going to try to write stuff like that. They're always going to try to put people down, but everyone gets along, which is good." Okay.
Also, okay.
And then in a separate interview, this is back in 2022, Peltz-Beckham also said there was no rift between Nicola, and her husband's family, calling them, quote, great in-laws. So there's a lot of, there's just I think already the common theme here is that this family or families love to kind of embed their personal lives in the spotlight and address comments when they don't have to be addressing any of these rumors.
No, because the best way to make people think that you're not getting along with your family is to repeatedly tell everybody how well you're getting along with your family.
Exactly.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that's why everybody keeps talking about it, because they're like, what the heck?
Right. Exactly.
So things seem okay.
Things seem fine.
And
yeah, the whole family, including Nicola and Brooklyn, attend.
Seem okay.
Well,
not really, but they are acting as if things are okay.
Yes. So the whole Beckham family attends the 2023 premiere of David Beckham's documentary on Netflix.
And there's some video circulating now that everyone's pulling up, given what Brooklyn posted, which we'll get to very soon, of Victoria and David standing on the red carpet, and Brooklyn and Nicola come up next to them, and Victoria keeps she's sort of cheated out towards the camera, but slightly angled, keeps her body exactly how it is, doesn't angle out to put her arm around Brooklyn. He sort of seems as if he's trying to go be next to her, and Nicola's face is... She is not smiling. So they were there, but it doesn't look like things were great when they were there.
No, that's not great.
No.
You can always tell a lot by body language,
yes,
and vibes, as we say on this show. So then Nicola doesn't attend Victoria's 50th birthday party in April of 2024, but Brooklyn does.
Okay.
So
in England?
I don't remember where it was.
Doesn't matter.
But doesn't attend.
Okay.
So weird. However, in September of 2024, so a couple months later, both Brooklyn and Nicola continue to attend Victoria's fashion shows and were spotted at one in September.
Okay.
So they're supporting the family. Things on paper seem okay. But also we don't know. Then I feel like where things kind of come to a head is May 2025, when both Brooklyn and Nicola do not attend David's 50th birthday party.
Yeah. And I think there were 3 separate celebrations they didn't go to.
Yes, which is not great. And at the time, according to People, they had a source who said that they did not go to the family celebration because they didn't want to attend alongside Brooklyn's younger brother, Romeo, and his girlfriend, Kim, who Brooklyn allegedly had a thing with in the past.
Weird.
So, which I mean, maybe that's why, but again, we don't really know. Was it like that David and Victoria were siding with Romeo and we're like, we don't care. Who knows?
Okay.
But they don't attend.
Okay.
And then I think the real kicker was just a few months ago in August of 2025, Brooklyn and Nicola renew their vows at her dad's house in Westchester. And the Beckham family does not attend.
Which, okay, first of all, I'm sorry. If you got married in 2022 and you're renewing your vows in 2025, it's either a sign that things are going perfectly. No, just kidding. It's probably not. It's probably not great. Or it was a dig at his family because we come to find out they feel like his family ruined their wedding.
Correct.
So let's go into Brooklyn's statement. This is a doozy. I'm just going to pull it up and we're going to read through it. It's too long, first of all.
It's very long.
It's too long. So I'm going to paraphrase and just read some of the important phrases.
And I would like to say, before you say it, what is interesting here, again, it's become kind of a theme now that these celebrities are posting very important statements on Instagram stories that expire, like Tom Brady and Giselle announcing their divorce was on an Instagram story and not an in-feed post. This was another example. These were all Instagram story slides that were very long.
It's a great point.
So I just want to point that out.
They also feel very different from a lot of his other captions. These feel like they were run through a professional or maybe AI. Who knows? So basically, I've been silent for years and made every effort to keep these matters private, which is, first of all, have you? I don't know. I mean, that's up for debate.
Well, it's like the Variety interviews about the wedding dress. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think when you're putting your relationship in the spotlight, you are not being silent, even if it's positive things.
Also,
you know what I mean?
This sure is not keeping stuff private. Okay. No. Anyway, unfortunately, my parents and their team have continued to go to the press, leaving me with no choice but to speak for myself and tell the truth about some of the lies that have been printed. So pretty hot out the gate.
Yeah.
He says, I do not want to reconcile with my family. I'm not being controlled. I'm standing up for myself for the first time in my life. So then he goes on to say that for his whole life, his parents have been putting him in the press, performative social media posts, family events, saying that they are inauthentic, that it's basically he was born into this life where, as we've been saying, they were performing their private life publicly.
From birth.
Okay. Next slide. Oh my God. These are just... So basically he says his parents have been trying to ruin his relationship. That his mother canceled making Nicola's dress, quote, in the 11th hour, despite how excited she was to wear her design, forcing her to urgently find a new dress, which simply does not track with the fact that the Valentino store, the whole narrative around that was that it took a year to make her wedding.
Here's my theory of that piece is that it was maybe Victoria was going to design a second look.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
That's
my guess.
And then he says that his parents tried to bribe him into signing away the rights to my name, which I don't know what that means. Like he can't be named Beckham anymore.
Maybe it was to buy him out of his name and they can use the name Brooklyn Beckham, his likeness in Beckham related content. I would guess. I don't know. If anyone who's an attorney knows,
they didn't want her or his future kids to be able to be named Beckham.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah. Whatever. Anyway. So then they've never treated him the same since that. And there's something about paying it. I don't know. Apparently he says that Victoria called him evil because Nicola chose to include their nanny. I don't know what he's saying. I don't know if he's saying that their grandmothers were included at their table at the wedding or that the nannies who
I feel like they mean family. I feel like we don't really know, but basically they're saying that they included 2 additional members at their tables because they both didn't have husbands and the Beckham family was not happy about that.
Sure. Okay. The night before our wedding, Beckham writes, members of my family told me that Nicola was, quote, not blood and, quote, not family. And it's like, well, yes, because that would be incest. So glad, okay.
Yes, true.
Anyway, so then he says that they kept attacking them in the press. His brothers were sent to attack him on social media. Brooklyn says that his brothers blocked him out of nowhere this past summer. His brothers say that he blocked them, their whole family, out of nowhere. And then this is where things get very interesting.
Yes.
He writes, my mom hijacked my first dance with my wife, which had been planned weeks in advance to a romantic love song. In front of our 500 wedding guests, Mark Anthony called me to the stage, where in the schedule was planned to be my romantic dance with my wife. But instead, my mom was waiting to dance with me instead. She danced very inappropriately on me in front of everyone. I've never felt more uncomfortable or humiliated in my entire life. We wanted to renew our vows so we could create new memories of our wedding day that bring us joy and happiness, not anxiety and whatever.
The dance piece, I think, was the most shocking thing that the press took away from it. And it is quite bizarre. And I will add to it because, I think everyone's immediate reaction is, well, let's see the footage. Let's see what this dance like.
You had a videographer.
They had a videographer. TMZ reports that the couple has no plans to ever release the wedding footage, which, okay, fine. We're told that the moment lasted several minutes, potentially an entire song, and left guests unsure how to react. According to sources who told TMZ that Victoria was right up against Brooklyn, allegedly in a way, quote, grinding on him, and guests felt the interaction crossed a line. Obviously, sources say Brooklyn was mortified. He clearly was mortified enough to put it in this series of Instagram stories. And according to TMZ sources, the videography company that uploaded the footage did it directly to a computer that only Brooklyn and Nicola had access to, signed NDAs. So basically, like, if this footage ever came out, I guess they could very easily potentially link it back to the videographer who filmed it.
Wow.
And then also, I think the second question people have is, well, surely some people had their phones. Like, someone had to, like a cousin had to have recorded.
Yeah.
Even like when you're at a no phone wedding, I still feel like someone's recording.
Phone.
Someone's
it's
always
like the
recording.
episode of Veep where they all put their phones in the fishbowl.
Someone's always recording. But according to sources who told TMZ that Victoria Beckham was the only person allowed to keep her phone after an exception was made. So just throwing that out there.
Okay.
So.
Wow. Okay. So then the next Instagram story, he says his wife, he feels she's been disrespected. Also, he says that they went to London for David Beckham's 50th birthday and weren't allowed to be at the celebration unless it was the one with hundreds of people, which I think they chose not to go to. He said his family went to LA and they refused to see him. And then this is interesting. My family values public promotion and endorsements above all else. Brand Beckham comes first. Family, quote, love is decided by how much you post on social media or how quickly you drop everything to show up and pose for a family photo op, even if it's at the expense of our professional obligations. We've gone out of our way for years to show up and support at every fashion show, every party, and every press activity to show our perfect family, in quotes. But the one time my wife asked for my mom's support to save displaced dogs during the LA fires, my mom refused. I'm sorry.
Why are dogs? I mean, listen, look, we don't know what's going on there. I don't like a displaced dog story. Any sad dog story makes me very sad. But why is that in this statement?
The amount
random.
of rich people details that he is putting in here, trying to make people feel sympathy for him, is wild. Right. And we'll get to that. Hold on. This is basically, he's saying, the end slide. The narrative that my wife controls me is completely backwards. I've been controlled by my parents for most of my life. I grew up with overwhelming anxiety for the first time in my life. Since stepping away from my family, that anxiety has disappeared. I wake up every morning grateful for the life I chose and have found peace and relief. My wife and I do not want a life shaped by image, press, or manipulation. All we want is peace, privacy, and happiness for us and our future family.
Here's what I'm going to say to start. I don't really think this is that complicated. I think this is Brooklyn Beckham going through his Saturn return. He's turning 27 soon, right? He's 26. Yeah. He's going through the shedding. We are also ending the year of the snake, not to talk about the Chinese. We're going into the year of the horse. I'm just saying, isn't 2019, when was 7 years ago? 2019?
Yes.
It's from 2019 to 2026, I believe. I'm no zodiac expert.
You might have cracked the code.
This to me just reads as he is going through #realizing things. And I'm not saying, we don't know what's true here. They both sides here feel like they love the press and the public limelight for him to do this, right? That we don't know the truth, but I will say, just if you're just looking at the facts here, he's turning 27 soon. He's going in his late 20s. He's separating himself from his family. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Yes. No, I don't know. I think you're right. And I think it's, I think if they ran this if Brooklyn and Nicola, because you know that she was involved in this too, ran this by a PR firm, they should, that's malpractice to let him post all of this. I think that you can't say that you want privacy and then do something like this. If you really want privacy, you put out a statement and it's an in-grid feed. It's in feed. It's like public, or you give an exclusive interview and you say, in order to protect myself and my wife from my family, we have had to separate, due to their desire to be seen publicly. And then you can't be giving interviews to Variety. You can't be talking about either you get, it's all or nothing in a way. And you can't, this to me seems like someone who is just like, yes, he's going through a Saturn return, but he is not, maybe his prefrontal cortex isn't like fully developed.
Right.
Because if you actually, like, the number one rule when you're trying to get people to side with you is never give so much detail.
It's too much information.
True. He is like going through every little slight that's ever happening, like this and this and and it's stuff that like I'm sure he cares deeply about,
right?
But is not the way publicly to handle this, because then everyone's looking at this being like, what? His mom did this, the dogs, that Mark Anthony, it's like what? And so I think that this has been a very mismanaged situation.
Yes.
As far as everybody's concerned.
Yes. It's a very mismanaged PR strategy. And I 100% agree with you. He's sharing too much information. It should have been one slide, comments turned off in feed, saying we're dealing with a private matter. Please respect our privacy.
Or saying like, we are separating ourselves from the Beckham family.
Right.
Wish them all the best.
Right. I do think it is interesting, again, because he's just like kind of all over the place and sharing too much information. Something we talked about on the Tom Brady episode, obviously, is using Irving Goffman's theory presentation of self, the sociological theory, talking about how you have a front region and a back region. And he does talk about how his family, it's interesting, like that his family uses Instagram as a way to perform closeness and connectedness as a family unit. But clearly what was going on behind the scenes in the back region was just chaos and everyone was not happy with each other.
Totally. And saying using social media as validation, the front region as validation for the back.
Yes.
No, I think you're
it was fascinating to see someone that famous.
Yes.
And from a family who has so much notoriety say something so publicly that's just reaffirming what we suspect about celebrities on the internet.
Yeah.
It's not like we have some groundbreaking analysis, but it is interesting.
Yeah. And just ripping back the curtain and being like, hey, this is what's going on. Right. Also, I think that there are no heroes here. I think that clearly things are messy. I don't doubt that both parties feel a type of way. It's also probably true that the Beckhams do this. We've seen, to your point, what you listed in the beginning of all the times they've been public and used their yes, we know that they do this. Also, it's just very interesting to see kids who have this access to wealth and when they use it and when they don't. Maybe if Brooklyn hadn't married a billionaire's daughter, he wouldn't be doing this because financially he would be attached to them. It's like he can afford to do this.
Totally. Yes.
But the interesting thing to me was, as we said in the beginning, David Beckham went on CNBC. This is the funniest, the funniest possible way to make the first public statement about your son doing this is to go on CNBC's Squawk Box.
Totally. And it's also, I think, the first thing I thought was, what are his parents going to say about this? Because there's no situation where any answer really looks good. No. Even if they were in the wrong or in the right, you're talking about your firstborn child publicly. Yes. Like no matter what, it's not going to be good. And the quote, I would love for you to read it for the class, because I was like, I mean, that's one way to put it.
No, it's first of all, I agree with you. I didn't think that they were ever going to address this, let alone the next day David goes on CNBC.
Yeah, because I think he was asked about it. I don't think
But the fact that, like, of course he was going to be asked about it.
Yeah.
That would be
like maybe cancel the interview.
That would be like one of us wins the lottery and we stick to an interview we had planned and like think maybe they won't ask us about the fact that we won the lottery.
Yes.
Like, the opposite of winning the lottery. But so David said, I'm not going to do his accent. I've always spoken about social media and the power of social media for the good and for the bad. The bad we've talked about with what kids can access these days. It can be dangerous. Keep in mind, his son is 26 and married.
Yep.
What I have found personally, especially with my kids as well, use it for the right reasons. I've been able to use my platform and my following for UNICEF.
Unbelievable.
And it has been the biggest tool to make people aware of what's going on around the world for children. In some ways, Madeline, this is a PR masterclass.
Unbelievable. unbelievable media training network.
And it also is the work, and it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, but it also kind of does.
Yeah.
Because that was the best deflection, vague response, because what is the interviewer going to say back? What are you going to follow up with? Tell me about UNICEF and children and how this relates to your son, and him posting like 15 Instagram story slides about you and your wife. Unbelievable answer. You know what it kind of reminds me of?
What?
Maybe we've talked about this on this show. The like such as answer that woman, that poor woman. It was in like 2008 or 10. She gave it like the Miss America, Miss Teen USA, and she kind of just panics up there. It's sort of, I don't know. I read it and I was like, this is the like such as answer.
Yes,
for a celebrity.
It's also the deflections here are, first of all, I think if he'd been more subtle about it, it could have worked better.
Yeah.
But it's like he's following a PR playbook where it's deflection, social media is bad, my charity work.
Yes.
That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I mean,
incredible
hats
work.
off to David Beckham.
Hats off. He did a hat trick.
He did a hat trick. He did.
I mean, yeah, it's like, well, I guess what else was he going to say? It's absurd. But I guess,
it's also, it's like you're blaming your massive family rift on social media.
Right. Well,
and kids these days.
Yeah. Well, of course he is. It's obviously.
It's incredible. That is the whole saga.
Oof.
Do you have anything else? I feel like we've covered a lot, but is there anything else you would like to say?
I think, people are taking sides. Are you team David and Victoria or team Brooklyn? I think I fall somewhere in the middle. I think the truth is in the middle. I think both sides are wrong. And I think they've handled things inappropriately on both sides. And I think everyone needs to be quiet for a little while, go to family counseling, maybe do the Hoffman process, do some inner child work, just heal some intergenerational trauma or something.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I'm team neither. I actually find it hard to believe that anyone could take either one, could back either one of these people, because they are also like, there's so much like grimy stuff in the background of all of this.
Right. I know. I don't like
Where
it.
you're like, what?
I don't like it.
I'm sorry, I can't get over Nelson Peltz.
Oh, no.
As soon as I found that Nelson Peltz tried to buy New York Mag with Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein, I was like, okay, well, I think that we're probably not going to be rooting for anyone here.
No. Yeah, no.
So I guess the moral, don't put your kids on social media.
Don't put your kids on social media. Maybe keep things to yourself. And yeah, that's, I think, the conclusion.
I think the conclusion is shut up.
Just be quiet. Just be quiet. Just
zip it.
Zip it.
Sit down, stop talking.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
And I'm sorry for everything you're going through.
Yeah.
And hopefully your money can buy good therapy.
Exactly. Yeah. All right.
Well,
thank you so much for listening or watching. Love to hear your thoughts on this entire saga. Please put them in the comments on YouTube.
Yep.
As always, please like and subscribe, rate and review. It makes a huge difference. You can follow us on Instagram at Sports Gossip and TikTok at Sports Gossip Show. We'll be back this weekend on Sunday for our AFC and NFC Championship chats on Substack, which you can join by subscribing to our Substack at sportsgossipshow.substack.com.
Amazing work.
And I think that's it.
Hey, go Pats.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
I think they're going to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.